So now let's start to look at exercises for the trunk region. It's important to train this area of your body to increase the tolerance or the strength. And so let's focus on our goals for any sort of exercise program for your lumbar spine. Obviously, you want to challenge the musculature as you would want to in any sort of training protocol, remembering that your muscles need to be strong, but they also need to have endurance because you stand upright most of the day. But you also want to decrease spinal loading. You don't want any sort of core training to also cause injury to your spine. And just always keeping in mind that the NIOSH, which is the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, has an action limit or a cautionary loading zone for your lumbar spine at about 3,300 newtons of compression. For shear, you don't want to get anywhere near about 2,000 newtons of shear loading. So the muscles we're going to focus on in the next couple of videos are the erector spinae for trunk extension, and remembering they're slow twitch fibers, and your abdominals, and those are your trunk flexors. And so going back to the reading, you have a lot of tables which can seem overwhelming, but these are really good resources, because what these individuals have done is for different exercises, abdominal exercises, they measured the EMG activity of your rectus abdominis and your external obliques and figured out the compressive loading during those exercises. So you can see in straight leg sit-ups, which I would always avoid sit-ups, you get well over 3,300 newtons of compression. Something more towards a curl-up, well, you're still up about almost 3,000 newtons. A bent leg raise gets you much lower for the compressive loading. And then you can curl up feet free, which is probably what most people tend to do now. You're much lower. And then you would say, okay, well, the percent MVC of my rectus abdominis does go down from a sit-up to a curl-up, but I'm also gaining safety in my lumbar spine by reducing that compression load. And also post some videos that focus on, I think they call it the McGill sit-up now, where he's actually advocating no motion in the lumbar spine, just kind of an isometric contraction of the musculature. So in summary, for sit-ups or abdominal training, bent leg, bent knee sit-ups, straight knee sit-ups have very, very high compressive loads. Curl-ups still have a reasonable high rectus activity, but your compressive load is much lower. And for your obliques, the horizontal side supports or planks, side planks, are very good to activate that musculature without a high compressive load. And these have become much more common in training communities lately. So more of a summary, sit-ups should not be performed by most people. This is conservative, absolutely. You want to be conservative with people's low backs. Knees bent does not reduce compressive loads for sit-ups, full sit-ups. Hanging from an overhead bar, doing your reverse sit-ups, does not reduce compression on the spine. And twisting curl-ups does not really challenge the spine, but has a very high compressive load. Basically, avoiding any sort of twisting, excessive twisting of your spine is probably suggested.